I'm warning you, give yourself up. I won't repeat. I've heard reports about you picking fights with people. We don't like that around here. This definitely won't come cheap.
Lord Almighty!
Come on then, what's the holdup? No time to waste.
Never show up. The swill pop.
Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Look at him. Mother of God. Any minute now he'll throw up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas. Hac facite in meam commemorationem. Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will puke first.
Mother of God!
Brothers and sisters in Christ, I would like to talk to you about our Holy Mother Church and what iniquities it's declining into.
That boy has a cheek.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, humans, hunger, and chaos. The accursed wealth that the church is drowning in is poisoning almost the whole of Christendom. When dogs are fighting over a bone, take the bone and they will stop. Just like the flock of ravens that has descended on this land to peck up every speck of gold and silver. They show no mercy. Their hearts are poisoned by covetousness. They trade everything. Everything is for sale. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay, and you will have absolution. And the prelates sin and give themselves absolution.
For shame! Shame upon them!
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk, prostitutes and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters. Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right!
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates! Away with them!
We're fortunate to have our good Father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
I say to you, in the words of Jan Hus, he who knows much, let him speak much. He who knows little, let him speak little. Let each speak as much as he knows, and he who knows nothing, let him at least teach his neighbour one virtuous deed by setting him good example and refraining from playing dice and from fornication. And that applies both to priests and to you, brothers and sisters.
That's his conclusion.
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that Hus.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a
I'm
silver
glad
tongue.
he came here. I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague, and he told it nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. And I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin,
So gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubos tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now, slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubos came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said They'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhoff.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pious. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it. Huh?
So it's you! You were seen starting a brawl. This definitely won't come.
Oh, come on, my friend.
Try your fair...
Damn it. Here's your coin, then.
You've purged yourself before the law.
Be a bit more careful. You serious?
Lord Almighty! There. Satisfied?
Have you got a bed for the night?
Aye, there's room here. For how long?
Just the one night?
Sure, but Groschen first. He's a harsh time.
One
Here you
ale
are.
over here, please.
You've got it all to yourself.
Jesus, it's not as shallow as it looks. I'm looking for someone they call Riki.
That's the Tanner's son, Hinek.
Where can I find him?
Hard to say. He's not around here much, thank God for small blessings. You could try his folks' place.
What can you tell me about this Hinek?
What can I tell you? No, he's none too popular. No one cares to talk to him.
Why not?
Well, I'm not one to gossip, but I heard he keeps bad company.
Why do they call him Riki anyway?
Why do you think? Because he's a tanner, of course.
What's the tanner like, Hinek's father?
The less I see of him, the better. He's not exactly sparkling company.
So why don't people like him?
The old tanner's not an easy man, but a son should never let his father down. Hinek does nothing to help. He's always far too busy with his own affairs, though I wouldn't like to say what those are.
And does no one at all talk to him?
That harlot Adela hangs around with him, of course.
Harlot?
She works as a bathhouse wench, same thing.
I am honored that a...
So you know this Hinek?
Not much, I confess.
Why's that?
No one with a nose likes spreading...
What can you tell me? Why do they call...
He's a tanner, isn't he?
True enough.
Well, Hennick's nature is no sweeter than his smell.
Why has he got such a...
Well, like his old man, he doesn't talk much to anyone. And then he's always skulking off somewhere.
So a bit more than high spirits?
Just so.
Don't tell me there's not...
He's been seen around with one of the bathhouse wenches. Adela, I believe she's called.
Who's there? What?
Good day to you. What do you need?
What are you doing?
God save you. What can I do for you? Good day to you.
What's happening around here?
Ah, you know how it is. Always something. Like Vatsek has started an archery contest here. If you want to try your luck at winning a few groschen, you should go and see him. Oh, and another thing. Especially at the mill, not a week goes by without some ruckus there. But I'm wise to them troublemakers. Whenever they're planning some mischief, they're always huddled there in the corner, hatching their plots. Like yesterday, for instance. And that's not all. Now I think of it, I've not seen Kunhuta here for some time. The local herb woman. She always comes here once a week for a tankard of ale. But she ain't turned up recently. I hope nothing's happened to her.
What's happening around here?
Not...
Hey! Look out! Folk these days.
God be with you.
What's with the targets?
I notice you're asking questions. Are you the Inquisition by any chance?
No, I'm Henry, of Scalitz.
From Scalitz? I'm Vatsek, from here. Why are you so curious about the targets?
It's just that I sometimes try my hand at archery too.
Try your hand, do you? I know plenty who do. When you can score as high as me at chumps, then I might be impressed.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Never played chumps? And you call yourself an archer? All right, Henry, listen up. Chumps is a game for real archers. It tests your strength, stamina, and accuracy. And it can be a nice little earner. Unless you're, well, a chump.
So what exactly is it?
I'll tell you. A bunch of logs are floated down the river. Then you count to 20, and the archers run along the banks after the logs. At the end of the course, someone collects all the logs and counts the strikes. Whoever has the most, always meaning me, wins the bout. Each archer has 20 arrows with their own coloured fletching, and the contest ends when the last log floats through the finish line.
Sounds like good fun.
Fun? My friend, it will bring you out in a proper sweat, and you'll be well...
It sounds interesting.
Well, if you ever want to gamble...
I heard you've been seeing Hinek, the tanner's son.
So what? Come to preach at me, have you? That I'm a loose woman, a sinner, that I seduce decent men?
I just wanted to ask you a few questions. It's not my business how you live your life.
I'm glad to hear it. Some folk don't care for the way I make a living.
I can imagine.
So what about you then? You look a bit careworn. A bath with a bit of company might do you good.
That's not what I'm here for.
Shame. So what do you want to know?
Where can I find Hinek?
I haven't seen him in the village for a few days. He must have run off to the woods again.
Does he do that often?
From time to time.
What the hell does he get up to there?
I don't know.
He goes to the woods from time to time. That smells fishy to me.
What do you mean? There's no law against it, is there?
With all the footpads, looters, cumans, and God knows what other vermin around, it's not the sort of thing an honest man would do.
But Hinek doesn't have anything to do with those people.
Oh really? Then what does he do there? I don't imagine he's gathering mushrooms.
I really don't know what you want from me. So Hinek is a bit odd and sometimes he goes off into the woods. So what?
When did you last see him?
A few days ago. He came to me late in the evening, drunk.
And that was unusual?
I never saw him drink much. He always came to me sober.
So he was acting strangely that evening?
He was strange. I had the feeling he was afraid of something. He keeps prattling on and didn't seem to care about you know what. So I threw him out and I haven't seen him since.
Can you remember anything he said that evening?
Oh, I'm not sure. He went on about some fellow called Lubosh who died. That he was regretting he ever got into it. But he never said what it was. And that it wasn't worth it for the money. Aye. And then he was talking about the money. That was very odd.
What did he say about the money?
Just that he had a pile of it hidden behind his house.
I see. What did you say to that?
What could I say? He was drunk. He kept saying I was a fine girl, and other harlots wouldn't go with him even for money. And if I wanted, I could even take half the money and leave. Or he'd go with me, and we could get married and such. All just poppycock.
Did you go there for a look?
No, I've got better things to do. Obviously he made it up. Where would a layabout like him get so much coin?
Yes, I understand. Did he tell you exactly where he hid it?
He said he buried it at his father's small holding in the western corner.
All right, thank you. Where can I find Hinek?
I haven't seen him in the village.
Does he do that often?
From time...
What the hell does he get? Look, Hinek's my friend, and I really need to know where he is and what he's doing.
But I already told you I don't know where he's got to.
So I suppose he just goes to the woods to pick mushrooms, does he?
Mushrooms, no. More like hares or other game.
So Hinek is a poacher? That's no surprise.
Well, he was never much of one for an honest trade.
Do you know exactly where he goes? Maybe he has some favourite spot he might have told you about?
He said he has some hideout in the woods, but he didn't tell me where.
I need to know more about that hideout.
I really don't know where it is. I only know when he came back, he usually came to see me.
I see. Do you know what route he took? At least the general direction. Anything that could help me find his hideout.
I think he usually went through the woodcutter's camp, 'cause he always brought me freshly chopped firewood, and he had wood chips on his boots.
Good. So at least I know where to start. Do you know who he sold it to?
He never told me straight up. But who could he sell it to? The innkeeper, I reckon. It makes sense.
For sure. How did you know he'd been to the woods?
He always talked about what he caught, and he never came to me at other times. Probably didn't have the money for it.
Is it true?
What?
Other whores wouldn't go with him even for money.
The other bathhouse girls are honest, so I don't know. The truth is, I felt a bit sorry for him. Folk don't like him, but it's only 'cause his old man is a grouch and a tanner.
I heard they don't like him because he keeps company with villains.
True enough. But they didn't like him before that either. Or me. They're close-minded yokels. Both of us are the black sheep of the village.
There's nothing more between you?
No, nothing. Maybe Hinek thinks differently, but that's how it goes.
Is it true?
The other bath...
So you only felt sorry for him?
Both of us are the black sheep of the village.
There's nothing more between you?
No, nothing. Maybe Hinek thinks differently, but that's how it goes.
Another thing about the...
What is it?
What is it?
I want to ask about the courier's son, Hinek.
But ask someone else. I have nothing to do with Riki. He'd only drive my customers away.
Really? I heard a different story. I heard the two of you do business together.
Who are you, anyway?
A friend of Hinek's. He's gone missing and I need to find him.
I don't know where he is. But if you find the bastard, tell him he still owes me some goods.
I don't give a damn what deals you've been doing together. I won't tell anyone. I just need to know where Riki is. It's urgent.
What have our deals got to do with where he disappeared to?
More than you think. It's likely Riki is hiding out at his poaching lair. And believe me, it wasn't hard to find out who was buying game from him, and it's even easier to go to the castle and tell them. Poaching's a crime, after all.
All right. But give me your word of honor you won't tell anyone about our deal.
You have my word.
Fine. So, what do you want to know?
I hear Hinek has a hideout in the woods he uses for hunting game. Do you know where it is?
Not exactly. That is... I don't know where it is at all.
But
I happen to know it's a dark place. A cave or an old mine shaft.
How do you know that?
Whenever Riki was going poaching, he always came to me first for candles and lamp oil. He brought the game skinned and gutted, so we had to have a light for that.
And do you know of any mine shafts nearby?
There's a few of them around. There's one on the opposite bank, a short way off the path leading from the forge to the west. Then there's a mine gallery to the east of the village, up in the woods above the cliffs. And I heard there's one shaft on the headland close to the water.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Watch you don't break your neck, though. It's rough ground, and you could easily fall down a shaft.
How much game did he bring you?
Not much, a few pieces. There's no great demand here. Sometimes the gentry has something, otherwise it ends up in sausages.
What is it?
Good day to you.
I'm looking for a fellow called Riki. Have you ever heard of him?
Shit. Why wouldn't I? That's what they call my son, Hinek.
Ah. You wouldn't happen to know where he is, would you?
I don't know nothing.
Don't you at least know where he usually goes? It's important.
Hinek shows up at home once in a blue moon, so I don't know nothing about where he gets to. Even if I did, why would I tell every Tom, Dick and Harry?
Your son is about to get into deep shit. I'm trying to find him so I can warn him.
That's nothing new. He's always up to his ears in it.
But this time his neck's on the block. He got mixed up with some very dangerous people. I have to find him.
All right. He was here a few days ago, but he left right away. He looked like he was in a hurry.
And you don't know where he went?
I've got an idea, but I don't know where it is exactly.
I don't follow.
Hinek makes some money on the side from poaching. He boasted to me a few times about what a great hideout he found in the woods, but he never told me where it is.
Well, it's not much to go on, but it's better than nothing. Thank you. Don't you have any clue at all where...
I really don't know nothing about that. I could tell when he'd come from...
How's that?
Because every time he brought some hides for tanning and money.
He had money because he sold the stuff right away?
I suppose. He never kept any of his loot here.
Do you know who he sold it to?
No. But the innkeeper came here now and again and gave him coin. Of course, it could have been for me.
All right. I'll ask at the inn then. What more do you know?
Nothing. I swear to God Almighty.
I know he didn't talk to you about it, but you must have noticed something, right? How much time did he spend away? What was he wearing? How did he look when he came?
Well, he came and went at all sorts of hours. I really don't know. Except maybe...
So he probably went through thick wood.
I reckon. What do I know?
Don't you have any clue at...
I really don't know.
How's that?
Because every time...
What's going on there? Jesus! Look where you're going!
I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
Is something troubling you?
I wouldn't say it's troubling me exactly, my boy, but I've heard talk about the Sasso blacksmith and I'm losing sleep over.
What talk might that be?
They say they've heard him chanting when he tempers steel, and that nothing of his ever breaks.
Using spells to strengthen steel? That sounds like old wives' tales to me.
That's what they say. They say he's always muttering something, and if anyone catches him at it, he stops at once and gives them dirty looks.
Maybe he's just praying.
Well, he's getting help of some sort, whether it's prayers or something less holy.
And, how could I help with that?
Simple enough. Go there and find out if there's any grain of truth in it.
I suppose asking costs nothing.
Just don't ask him outright about any sorcery.
Don't worry, I'm not that daft.
Good, good. And don't worry. You won't be the poorer for it. Once you find out what's what, I'll find a way to recompense you.
All right. I'll go and see if there's anything to the stories.
Good. But be subtle about it. Don't go embarrassing yourself. Or me.
Let's have a word about the price.
Well, we can try it.
Agree?
Well, a little more and we'll call it a deal. Aye, that would do it. Are you sick?
can't go any further. The current could sweep me to my death.
I hope I can be of help to you, Knight.
Is there any work you can do?
That depends. Maybe you haven't noticed, but we've got a bit of a problem.
I'm listening.
We've got a Cuman captive we pulled out of the river. I've an idea what to do with him, but I need a little help. I have my own plans for him, but I need a bit of help.
How did you do it? It's not every day a miller's helper catches an enemy of the crown.
That's true. My hands will be more than happy to tell you how they caught him.
I'm in the service of Radzig Cobbler, and that Cuman should be swinging from the Rat-Eye gallows.
Maybe, but I'm not taking him there. I don't have time. I'd rather throw him into the mill run.
I can take him there for you.
That's generous of you. And you'd just happen to get the reward for him too, wouldn't you?
We can cut a deal, and I'll bring you your half of the reward back.
Don't take it personally, but I'm just not a trusting man. Give me the money in advance and you can take him. What you do with him then is up to you.
All right. How much do you want?
I'm guessing Sir Radzig has it in for the Cumans right now, so it won't be cheap. You'll get a great deal of money for him.
Fine. Here you go.
See now, I knew we'd reach an agreement. The Cuman is in the barn. My hands will unlock it for you.
Damn!
I've come to ask about that human.
Ask away.
How did you manage to catch him?
Aye, he was. But he had a bit of bad luck. I went for water in the morning, and all of a sudden, I saw a man on a horse riding through the ford. Halfway down the ford, the horse got wild and threw him into the water. I waded in and pulled him up on shore. And then I realized he was a Kuma. Luckily for me.
And what plans do you have?
What do I know? The miller told me to guard him.
All right, I'll add. Interesting.
So tell me, Yannick, what are you going to do?
I'm here for the Cume.
What?
The miller told me I can take him away.
Right.
Don't just stand there, then.
Oh.
Niet elkaar toch maar megint. Als je hier tegen terug, zeep je schuurschwaai.
Get up. The executioner in Ratai can't wait to meet you.
Nee, niet dat niet.
Stop talking and get up.
Please, no, Ratai.
How about that? You do understand. And you don't want to go to Ratai? If I were you, I'd feel the same way.
Please, money, underground.
Quietly. I don't want to hear another word.
Garlic, carrots, beetroot, onions, all that grows in the ground. Fresh. Come right up.
God be with you, Henry.
I'm glad to see you.
God save you.
I'm here about the Cuman.
Ah, so it was you who brought him. I suppose you've come for your reward.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to be in his shoes, I'll tell you that. That is the first Cuman anyone's ever brought in alive. Then again, those devils don't deserve any mercy. Anyway, here's the reward for your service.
Thanks. You look like you've got a lot on your...
Busy? I've had so many visitors, I wouldn't wonder if the door...
What's going on?
I've been given the task of putting some of the Scarlet's refugees to work.
I understand.
The worst part is they won't tell you who really needs a job the most, but you might be able to help, Henry.
How?
They're like to be more honest with you, so you can find out who's in the most need. And...
if you need help, I'll do whatever I...
You're a godsend. I'm sure it won't take too long. You know how the refugees are getting...
What kind of work are we talking about?
Well, old Hagen is looking for a cook, and we need 5 carriers.
A cook and 5 water carriers? That sounds simple enough. Is there a problem?
A little. We need 3 water carriers, but the other 2 will have to carry, begging your pardon, shit. Or as the Pope would say, excrement.
Is there anyone who can tell me more about it?
Yes, the merchant Conrad Hagen is the one looking for a cook, so you can talk to him.
How come that's such a cause for concern?
For one thing, they're afraid of me, and I can't get a straight answer.
Oh, they're desperate.
I don't, but I might end up picking some...
Can you tell me anything more about...
You'll have to ask Hagen yourself. I couldn't get a straightforward...
What do I need to know?
We need 3. Right now, some...
And they need to go all the way...
Of course, where else would they get it?
What can you tell me about...
It's dirty, but it's...
Sounds disgusting. Why would anyone want the job?
If all else fails, I'll pay 2 groschen for every 1 I pay the water.
That's all I need to know.
Good luck, then.